We start with the surface, not using anything like wax paper, just going right on top of the Korean. We then take a piece of the cookie dough that we made yesterday, and we just cut a slice of that off and put it on the counter before we roll it into a ball. After it's rolled into a ball and we put it on our floured surface, we then start to pank it out first and then roll it out as thin as we can. Now, in terms of how thin to roll the cookie dough, we happen to have dark countertops in the kitchen. So you can tell it's getting thinner when the dark of the counter starts showing through. On the piece you're looking at toward the top of the screen or the back of the piece of dough, I've rolled it as thin as I can, maybe a little bit more, and now I'm going to start on the front end and see if I can't make that thinner too. But that just goes to show you that it's much thicker on the front end than it is on the back end, and you have to keep rolling till you get it thin. You can tell that it's getting thinner on the front end because it's getting darker, but I'm going to keep rolling it till the front end is about as dark as the back end, and that means I've gotten it pretty thin. Okay, there it is, fully rolled out. It's about as thin as I can possibly make it. I'm going to zoom in and you can see that throughout it's relatively thin. I believe as thin in the front as it is in the back, and we're now getting ready to start to cut out our shapes. Next, we're going to take this spatula that you can see is bent, and we just slide it under the pieces of dough you can see are already cut. And let me just take a shot and see what this is like. If you do this, you can see that that first little Christmas tree is just ready to pick up and put on the cookie sheet. There we've got about a dozen wafer-thin Christmas trees on the cookie sheet, and we're ready to clean up our leftover dough, roll it out again, and see how many more we can get from this wad of dough. Okay, there's our last piece of dough from this ball. When this is done, I'll have so little waste that I'll probably just eat it, and we'll probably get another half a dozen or 8 Christmas trees out of this, and you'll note that it's rolled very, very thin. Okay, here we have a tray full of Christmas trees just ready to head on into the oven. And across the kitchen here we can take a look and see we have a bunch of Christmas bells that are out and that are starting to cool off. Let's just take a look at the Christmas bells. Just when you think you've got it rolled out far enough, you can probably roll it out a little bit more. Note that this is 6 inches in that direction, and approximately 5 inches in that direction. We're going to see if we can make it any thinner. So what had been about 6 inches long is now about 9.5 inches long, and what was 5 inches wide is now about 7 inches wide. So we were able to get it thinner, weren't we?